Okay, so welcome to the session of banking and financial services. So today's topic of discussion is what are the bodies or regulators which are regulating various financial sectors in our country. So as far as the bank is concerned, it is all the banks in India who are registered come under Reserve Bank of India. Okay, then coming to our share market, that is your capital markets and mutual funds, it is being governed by SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India. When we talk about insurance companies, it is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, that is IRDA. Okay, so what we are interested in is this particular portion with respect to our subject here. Okay, so we are going to discuss thoroughly as to how RBI controls the banks in various areas. So that is what we are going to discuss. With that, there is something called as Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay, so that also we are going to discuss, wherein certain clauses are given which the banks are supposed to obey and operate. So these two things, that is the Banking Regulation Act 1949, RBI Act 1934. So both these acts somewhere give the protocols for the banks to operate. So one by one, we are going to discuss as of what are those protocols given by RBI, given in the RBI Act as well as the RBI governing body here. So RBI is nothing but Reserve Bank of India. We all know it is the central bank of India which like controls the whole banking system in our country. So what are the main, or how is the structure of it, and what are the main functions of Reserve Bank of India? We'll just go with a brief introduction. The Reserve Bank of India, 1st April 1935. So that was when it was established. Okay, it is headquarters in Mumbai, and present governor, I guess MRD Subbarao was for last 2 years back. I don't know who is the present governor. I need to check on that. Just a minute.
Shaktikant Das maybe, ma'am.
Shaktikanta Das, right? So the present governor of Reserve Bank of India is Shaktikanta Das. He is the 25th governor of Reserve Bank of India, and he has taken up this chair from December 2018. So on and appropriately, 22 regional offices are there in various state capitals, especially in Bangalore, Hyderabad, in major cities or capitals of the various states. These 22 regional offices can be founded. So just going to the brief history here, it was set up on certain recommendation of Hilton Young Commission before 1947, that is our independence itself. There was a commission being formed, Hilton Young Commission, to make sure that the banks are operating smoothly. So based on the recommendation of that commission, this RBI was being set up. Okay, so it was started as a shareholder bank with a paid up capital of 5 crore, but later again became a government undertaking. Initially, it was located in Calcutta. Later in 1937, it has moved. The headquarters have been moved to Mumbai. Earlier, as I told, it was a shareholders bank which was privately owned, but it was nationalized and it came under government of India from 1949. Now, RBI is the fully owned, it is a bank which is fully owned by government of India. So these are some things which is a homework for you. I'm not going to give this information for you. This is something which you are supposed to give me checking into the RBI website later. So you have to understand what is the repo rate, what is the reverse repo rate as of today. If you just visit this RBI website, on the first page or window itself, you'll be getting all these information. Okay, CRR is cash reserve ratio, SLR is statutory liquidity ratio. CRR is something which is kept with the RBI. The bank, whatever bank is there, it keeps certain deposit with RBI. So that amount is in the CRR ratio. So normally it is in the range of 3.5 to 4%. SLR ratio is the minimum amount or cash in the form of liquid is supposed to be maintained in the banks itself at any point of time, wherein the RBI has every right to come and visit the bank and check the statutory liquidity ratio. So they cannot, what I can say, deviate from the stipulated SLR ratio, right? As of today, SLR ratio is how much? Anybody knows?
18%.
Yes, you are right. It is 18%. There was a time where this SLR ratio went up till 24% also, around few years back. Till 24%, the FD, that is deposits, had to be kept in the bank as liquid cash as a part of SLR ratio. And what is the CRR ratio as of today?
3%.
Yes, around 2 years back it was almost 3.8 to 4%. Now it has been reduced to 3% because they want to strengthen the banks and ultimately give them more authority to give away the loans and advances. Then coming to repo rate, how much is the repo rate today?
4
Yes.
months.
What is the repo rate first? Can anybody tell me? What is repo rate? I had told it in the previous session. What is the repo rate?
4%.
4% is okay. I agree on that. But what is it? What does it mean? Anybody?
RBI gives some money to other commercial banks.
Yes, one by one. Yes, somebody was telling.
RBI lends some money to other commercial or private banks. For that money, they collect return on that fund.
Okay, it is the interest rate being charged by RBI to the banks who are taking loan from RBI. Okay, so kindly mute your mic, Srinidhi, please. Yeah, it is the rate of interest which is being charged by RBI on other banks, wherein RBI will be giving certain loans if necessary to these banks, and on that loan amount, 4% repo rate is going to be charged by RBI. At the same time, what is a reverse repo rate? Anybody else want to answer this?
Interest received commercial banks from the RBI.
Okay. Who is that speaking? Nandan?
Nandan, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So reverse repo rate is something wherein, let us say the commercial bank have excess money. So what they will do, they will go and keep it as a deposit, as a safe deposit with RBI. For that amount which is being deposited with RBI, the RBI is going to give certain rate of interest. Okay, so that interest rate will always be lesser than repo rate. Remember, okay, even when you go to bank and take a loan or deposit money, when you take a loan, the interest rate will be high. When you deposit money, the interest rate will be very low, which the banks are going to give you. The same thing happens here also. Reverse repo rate is always lower than the repo rate, right? It is the interest given on the deposits being done by the banks with RBI. So as of today, how much is the reverse repo rate? Repo rate is 4%, means reverse repo rate should always be less than the repo rate.
3.35.
Yes, as of today, it is 3.35. Okay, as of today, it is 3.35. Then what is this bank rate? Yes? What is bank rate? Anybody? Anybody would like to tell? I want participation, guys. If it is wrong also, it is okay. Please tell.
Interest charge on its loans.
Okay, who is doing that?
Central bank or banks.
Hmm? Who is it?
Ma'am, central bank will charge us the interest rates for lending the loan to the banks.
Okay, so here the bank rate is something wherein it is the rate at which it is lending loans to the commercial banks especially. Okay, so especially repo rate and this bank rate, there is a small difference here. Normally, repo rate is something which is a rate at which RBI lends money to commercial bank, but by buying securities is what it is done. Okay, it buys the securities, that is it is going to purchase the securities of that bank, and they keep it as a security and lend the loan, and the rate of interest is being charged on them. But bank rate is something without providing any security, the bank is going to take the loans from the RBI. There bank rate will be a little bit more. As of today, I guess the bank rate is around 4.25%. Okay, it is similar to you are mortgaging something and you are taking a loan in case of repo rate. But in case of bank rate, how it is charged is the banks are not giving any security to RBI. So they are directly taking the loan from RBI. So there the interest rate is little bit more. If they keep the securities as mortgaged with the RBI, then the repo rate is going to be charged, which is lesser than the bank rate. Okay, so if in exam 3 marks questions may come up, define the terms repo rate, reverse repo rate, and bank rate. Don't get yourself confused. Repo rate is also given for loans, is also charged for loans. Bank rate is also charged for loans, but repo rate is charged when this interest rate is charged only when the banks give securities and take loans. Bank rate of interest is charged when there are no securities given and directly loans are taken by these commercial banks. Okay, so that is the difference between repo rate and bank rate. Don't get yourself confused. Both of them are for lending only, but one with the securities, one without security. So that is what you have to understand. Then we already know what is CRR and SLR ratio, so I don't need to tell that again. What is this base rate? Yes? Anybody?
Minimum rate set by the Reserve Bank.
Yes, you are right. Here, it is the minimum rate at which the Reserve Bank sets it for commercial banks, right? If you don't set this base rate to these commercial banks, they will start doing whatever they want. They will start charging the interest rates on the loans however they want. So for that reason, what does this RBI does is it will fix up the rate, base rate, that is minimum and maximum. So minimum 7.4%, maximum of 9% as of today is the base rate fixed by the RBI towards the commercial banks. As far as this rate is concerned, some banks may go up even till 9.5 also in charging the interest rates. Okay, but with the permission, without the permission of RBI, they cannot do anything. So whatever rates are being charged, interest rates are being charged on loans and advances, that has to be notified to the RBI, and based on that only, with their permission, they are supposed to do it. So then coming to savings deposit rate. So here we all have SB accounts in banks, in commercial banks. So if you keep, let us say 20,000-30,000 rupees for 5 months and you have not withdrawn a single rupee, right? So there is a interest which is being given to us on that savings deposit, okay? Amount which is being deposited in savings bank account, and that is very, very less. The term deposit rate is very high compared to savings rate is bit high. So as of today, 2.7 to 3% is what is the savings deposit rate given to us. Let us say I have 1 lakh rupees in my SB account and I have not removed that amount for a long time. So I will be given an interest rate of 2.70 to 3% range, right? Depending on the bank to bank. So that is the amount given to me on my deposit. If there is a term deposits means FD, okay? So if it is more than 1 year or anything, 4.9 to 5.5 is the interest rate given to the customers or the account holders, especially for FD account. So that is what is you can find in term deposit rates, okay? So these are some important terminologies you should understand when it comes to banking system. Now, what is as per the RBI rules, what is the market of forex? Tell us, okay? In view of Indian rupees to dollars, okay? So, what is the value? Can anybody tell me? Yeah, I don't know. You have to tell me.
70 rupees, I guess.
Is it 70?
Yes, ma'am.
73.32, ma'am.
70?
23.
73.3.
Okay, it is 73.32. Okay, fine. Then what about euro?
85.91.
Okay. Then what about Japanese? Sorry, that is one, not 100. Japanese yen.
0.70.
Sorry.
0.7. 0.7.
0.70.
0.70. One Japanese
Yes,
yen
ma'am.
is equal to how much?
0.70, ma'am.
Yes, 0.70. Then 1 pound sterling is equal to how many rupees?
94.
Yes, 94.83 rupees. Okay, so these are certain RBI forex reference rates for as of today. Okay, as of today, what is prevailing in the market. So that is what is. So these are terms which you are supposed to understand as finance students. Every day you are supposed to observe the Nifty, Sensex. Okay, how it is going up and down, which are the companies profiting, which are the companies which are coming down, which industries or sectors growing, which industries and sectors are not suitable for investment. Guys, as finance students, I suggest you people to go ahead. If you really want to build up your career in finance, please go ahead and opening up a demat account wherein you can start trading. Start with 500 rupees or 1000 rupees. We waste 1000 rupees in many ways. Okay, so at least use that 1000 or 2000 rupees and start investing in share market. Small profits you make. Don't go for bigger leaps. You can make small profits of in rupees, like 20 rupees, 100 rupees, like that. So slowly you can grow, and you can even learn the market tendencies, how things work in the share market. So as finance students, if you really want to build up your career in that area, I suggest you people to start having the demat account. And very luckily you people are sitting at home and you are almost free most of the time. Use this time to learn the share markets, use this time to invest and start making money on your own. Okay, I had a student who had invested around 5,000 rupees. He was very much interested in finance area. He invested 5,000 rupees, and later when he had finished his MBA, you know how much money was there in his account? More than a lakh. Okay, it was just merely done using 5,000 rupees of shares. Within 2 years, he had turned it to almost more than a lakh. So such kind of things can happen if you are interested and intelligent enough to invest in share market. So do go ahead, but with minimum. You start experimenting with a lesser amount. Later, if you start gaining confidence, you can really go ahead and move in that area. Okay, so these are some basic rates you can find on RBI website, which actually govern the banks in terms of interest rates. Now, what is the main function of Reserve Bank of India, especially in our country? So the preamble says the main function of Reserve Bank of India, as far as the preamble is concerned, is to regulate the issue of banknotes, keeping the reserves with a view to securing monetary stability in country, and generally to operate the currencies and credit system of the country to its advantage. Okay, so this is the main preamble of our government, our RBI bank, Reserve Bank of India, for our country, right? So there are many functions which RBI plays here in terms of monetary policy, in terms of issuing of new currencies into the market, in terms of regulations on the banks, in terms of financial markets, financial inclusion and development, because there are certain rules and regulations for commercial banks wherein around 35 to 40% of their amount being collected, which is supposed to be lent as loans and advances, has to be given for economic development, that is upliftment of the people, right? So like self-help groups and all. So for SMEs, for medium scale enterprises and all, so certain amount is kept as a reserve. Okay, so those rules and regulations are being governed by RBI. Then education, it is the duty of RBI again to educate people on certain things. Okay, it may be in terms of new schemes of the government and all, so that also has to be done by RBI. Then banker and debt manager, it is a banker and a debt manager to government. I'll just talk about these things little bit later. So banker to the banks, because it gives loans to the banks, commercial banks, and it also accepts deposits from the banks. So that is why it is called as banker to the banks. It also in certain cases manages foreign exchange markets. Payment and settlement systems is taken care of by them. Then they also are involved into research and data. So these are some areas where RBI plays a very important role in terms of governing the banks. So let us discuss one by one, little bit in detail, how a central bank plays a very important role here. So as far as monetary policy is concerned, it refers to the policy of the central bank with regard to use of instruments under its control to achieve a specific goal. Okay, so here the main vested responsibility of conducting this monetary policy, implementation of monetary policy with an objective of bringing that price stability is what is done by RBI, right? So let us say if the flow of money increases in the market, it starts losing its value. So RBI tries to control over the flow of money in the market, right? So the Reserve Bank's monetary policy department assists the governor in formulating this monetary policy. Okay, and views of all the key stakeholders in the economy is considered here. Advice from technical advisory committee is also taken when this monetary policy is being framed up. So day-to-day routine requirements like policy rates, money market rates, liquidity conditions, all are decided by the Financial Markets Committee, which come under Reserve Bank of India. So implementation of monetary policy is one of the main responsibility of RBI. So I'm not going too deep into again discussing monetary policy because it will take again 1.5 to 2 hours. So you people have already studied it in economics and you don't need that in-depth knowledge here. So the basic point you should understand is RBI is responsible for implementing this monetary policy in the country. Then it takes care of issuing of new currencies into the market. See, how is actually the new currencies are launched into the market? On what basis it is done? Anybody? Yes, anyone? How the new currencies are issued into the market? What basis? Hello? Yes, anyone? So just like that, today morning, they think of launching around 5,000 crore rupees into the market and they do it. Huh? How
No,
it is
ma'am.
done?
Ma'am.
No. So that then how? How it is done? There is something called as reserves which come into picture. What is that? Yes?
If the RBI issuing the currency, they have some reserve like gold.
Yes.
Equivalent amount of gold is
Kept as reserve. Very good, Nandan. Excellent. Okay. So whenever the RBI thinks of issuing new currencies into the market, it has to keep gold as reserves with it. Okay. Which is equal to what amount it is going to launch in the form of currencies in the market. So just like that, they cannot take a decision. Okay. So whenever new currencies are supposed to be launched into the market, so they have to keep the equal worth of gold or reserves in terms of securities or something with the RBI, then only the notes can be released into the market. Okay, so that is one. And the second thing what it does in terms of currencies is like spoiled or torn banknotes and all. Okay, they are supposed to replace them. So even that is the task of Reserve Bank of India. Cut notes and soiled notes can be taken away by the banks, and in turn RBI will be issuing new notes. Okay, so that is one more major thing what it does. Then in terms of regulation, yes, basically this is needed to protect the depositors, because if the bank goes bankrupt, ultimately the local people or middle class people are the one who are going to suffer a lot, because banks will be majorly operating on their money. So to ensure that people are not at risk, the depositors amount is not at risk, the banking operations are being looked upon continuously by Reserve Bank of India. Then other than that, financial markets, here also a little bit of role of Reserve Bank of India is playing, especially in terms of government securities. Okay, so if at all the government is launching some securities and all, it is done through Reserve Bank of India offices. Okay, so that is one. And it also plays a very important role in foreign exchange markets. Okay, in terms of bringing price stability for a rupee value. So there also RBI plays a very important role. Then we have, in terms of financial inclusion, I was talking about there are certain priority sectors in our country. Okay, small scale and medium scale, like we have textile industries, we have agriculture and all. So for that, certain amount is kept as a reserve by every bank. So that will be looked upon by RBI, whether the banks are keeping that much of amount to the priority sectors or not, are investing their money in those areas or not. So that is being checked over by Reserve Bank of India. And then it also the RBI through the banks under it will help the government to carry out their government schemes, like there is Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. Okay, so that is one financial inclusion initiatives which gives poor people a chance to open up an account with zero balance. Okay, and whatever facilities are being given by the government, they are directly credited to these Jan Dhan accounts instead of going with a mediator. Okay, let us say like local governments or state governments are involved, maybe that amount is being stolen away by some politician or something. So to avoid that corruption, the immediate benefit is given to the poor class people through their Jan Dhan accounts. Okay, so that is on behalf of government, RBI instructs the commercial banks to do such thing. Then again, I was talking about investment in micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay, so especially SIC units and all, some credit facility is given through commercial banks, where RBI instructs the commercial banks to give them financial support so that they can somewhere revive, because they want to strengthen the industrial development in our country. So that is the intention behind financial inclusion and development. So this is also taken care whether the commercial banks are implementing it properly or not by RBI. Then RBI also takes care of consumer education and protection. Right? For customer service, they have set up banking codes and standard boards of India, BCSBI. It is an autonomous body where certain self-imposed codes are there by the banks for committed customer service. They are supposed to give certain fixed services without charging anything to the customers. That is right to, the customers are have a right to get fair treatment, have a right to get transparency. That is, if they want any information from the bank, without hesitation, the bank is supposed to give them. Then right to suitability in terms of facilities, a right to privacy in terms of hiding the information if they want. Let us say, if Nandan is having a bank account in SBI, I go and ask about how much balance is there in SBI. SBI is not supposed to or authorized to give that information to me. Okay, because of privacy issues. But whereas if court orders SBI to give information about Nandan's account, yes, they are supposed to do. The banks are abide by the rules and regulations of the law in the country. And at the same time, there is a banking ombudsman committee which readdresses the problems related to the customers, right? So the customers, if have any problem with the bank, so they can go and approach this banking ombudsman committee where the grievances are going to be addressed. So there are certain whenever there are new schemes of government coming up and all, so it is the duty of RBI to inform that information to the customers, okay, the people of our country. So through advertisements, through awareness programs, through pamphlets, through sending a message to the mobile phone. So there are many ways where the RBI is going to take up initiatives to inform the people here. Then another role of it is banker and a debt manager to the government. So as it is a banker's bank, here it is the government's bank also. Okay, so whenever the government needs a certain financial support for implementing certain projects or anything, RBI is the one who is going to give loan to the government here, right? The Reserve Bank of India has an undertaking taken the traditional central bank function by managing the government's banking transactions here. When it comes to remittance, exchange and banking transactions in India, everything is taken care by the Reserve Bank of our country as per RBI Act 1934. So the government also deposits its cash balances with the Reserve Bank. The government will not go to some commercial bank and deposit the money. If the government has certain taxes being collected or anything like that, it deposits it with the Reserve Bank here. The Reserve Bank may also by agreement act as a banker and a debt manager to the state governments. Let us say state governments has taken some loan from the government, okay, in terms of some natural calamity or